I thought I'd just sort of show everyone how you install the Renogy solar panels on an RV. And this is the Renogy adjustable bracket. So right now I've got two rails and I've set them up on either side, and I'm going to tighten them down, and then I'm going to put the rest of the rail together. I'll show you how that's done, and then we'll go up to the roof. So now you see how it's set up here. It's bolted to the frame. Notice that this is the extender and it's on the inside, but don't forget, you got to make sure that this is on the outside. So now we've got both put together. We're going to take them up to the roof so that we can sort of place these around. I'm going to be putting another solar panel up there, so one thing to make certain is that you don't do this by yourself. These panels are not as light as you think they are, but make sure that there's someone to help you take them up. Now you see, these are the bolts that they give you for mounting those brackets, but it explicitly says do not use these to mount on the RV. So what I've got different panhand screws, and then I'm going to be using butyl tape, and after I put the butyl tape and the screws in, then I'll be using Dicor, which is recommended by the RV salespeople, to cover up those screws or any other place, and it's self-leveling Dicor. I'm trying to figure out the best placement for these solar panels, because I've got a cable off both of these solar panels.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the best placement for these solar panels so that I get maximum sun exposure while still giving me enough room to walk around on this roof. I don't want to have to buy a bunch of cables. I want to be able to use the cables that are already on the solar panel. And I'm going to be hooking these two panels up. I'm going to be hooking them up in parallel. So I've got the Y splitter here, and they'll both go in here so I can double the amperage. All right, so a lot of people will talk to you about series or parallel and what's best. So in my case, when I'm only using 275 watts, I want to make sure that I'm getting as much amperage to my batteries as possible. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm hooking these two panels in here in a parallel connection. One thing you have to know is if you're doing two different wattages, you want to make sure that the voltage off both panels are as close as possible, because it will always go down to the lower voltage. And you want to be higher voltage than what your batteries are. So your batteries will charge up to about 13. So these panels need to be putting out over 13 volts. This Renogy 175 watt panel puts out, when it short circuits, 21 volts, but it operates at a nominal 17.5. This new Renogy 100 watt solar panel, it puts out 20 volts when it short circuits, but it operates at about 17.2. So I will be losing about 0.3 voltage. But what our biggest concern right now is making sure that we have enough room to walk around the trailer after we put the panels down, as well as ensure that if we add more panels, we have more room across the trailer, and we have tons of room here. What we're also going to be doing with these things is we're going to be putting these down with butyl tape, and then we're also going to be using Dicor. So this is the butyl tape. I've talked to RV dealerships, and they say this is probably the best thing to put underneath. We're going to run it underneath here, and this will actually secure it to the rubber roof. And we're going to be using this product called Dicor, self-sealing, self-leveling on top of the screws, so that we can ensure that we have a good seal. It's never bad to have two forms of sealing the trailer, because we're going to be putting holes in it. What we're also going to be doing is Renogy ships it with bolts. Now those bolts are not designed to go onto this roof. So what I've read is we're recommending that we use a number 10 3/4 inch. The reason we're only using 3/4 inch screws is because the top of this is only a 1/4 inch thick plywood. And we're on a Rockwood signature, and any of the Rockwood products, they have a laminated roof and they don't have trusses. So So basically we have the rubber coating, we have 1/4 inch plywood, and then you've got your foam, and then underneath that you've got your 1/8 inch plywood. It's all laminated. On these trailers, I talked to the Forest River rep, and the only place that there is a truss is where you have your air conditioner. You have 2 trusses over top of the air conditioner to support its weight. So we're not even going to try to drill into those things. So in the next segment of the video, I'm going to actually show you installing the butyl tape, and then we're also going to be marking where we're going to be putting the drill holes. We're going to put 6 on each side, so we got a good secure to our roof, so if we're going down the highway or something like that, we're not worried about our solar panels blowing off. One thing you do need to know is when you're working with butyl tape, you shouldn't get any oil from your skin on it. So I'll be using gloves to make sure that I don't get any oil of my skin on top of the butyl tape. They also recommend that you do this when it's a little bit cool, because that way the tape is it's like a putty and you can actually mess around with it a bit more. So we'll talk to you guys when I'm ready to start putting these solar panels up. Okay, so we've decided to change where we're actually mounting this big solar panel. We're going to mount it on the other side of this 100 watt solar panel right now. So what I'm going to do before I've actually got it secured to the trailer is I'm changing the angle. You'll notice that this is the new angle, this is the old one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually unbolt it, because you can unbolt this and then change the angle at which you want. What's really cool about these is that I can move this rod, this thing that keeps the angle, and then I can move it down and angle it differently. But I can move this if my trailer was parked in the opposite direction than it was right now. So no matter if I'm going east-west or sorry, east-west or west-east, I can actually change how my trailer is put together. So if I'm facing north-south though, the panels I'll be mounting flat, because okay, so right now you'll see the sun is over on the south, right? And right now we're facing east at the front, west at the back. So basically I've got these panels so they're angled up, but if I was to be the other way around, what's neat about these is that I can actually move this arm, which we have right now, and then I can actually change it so that my panels will flip the other way. So if I was to spin my trailer around, I will still get the same efficiency out of my solar panels. Now if my trailer was facing sort of the other way, so I'm facing north-south, then my panels I'd leave flat. I wouldn't get the full efficiency of the panels, but at least I'm still getting the sun coming over top of the trailer. What I've also done is I've actually marked about 3 inches back from the edge of the trailer. I don't want to get too close to the edge of the rubber there, and so I'm mounting these things 3 inches back. And then because this thing's going to be covered in butyl, I've also gone and I've marked where I'm going to be drilling the holes. So I'll drill these holes, and then on the bracket itself I've marked where the actual holes are, so that when I'm putting the screws in and I won't be able to see it after the butyl tape's on top of this, I'll be able to know exactly where my drill holes are. When we're hooking these up, so when we're taking a look at this solar panel, these are watertight connections, okay? So when we want to take a look at it, this is a female end on the solar panel, and it's your negative, and then the male end on your solar panel is your positive. Okay, we bought our trailer with solar on the roof, and this is already going down into our trailer, so we didn't have to fish any funky wires. I've seen other people that have been doing this. They'll typically go through the refrigerator area and drop it down there, but we didn't have to. These cables right now are rated to 30 amps, so I can't put too much on my trailer. So when I'm hooking them up, right, I've got this Y connector so I can mark them in parallel, like I said in my earlier video. but I'm going to plug the male end into the female end here, right? And then I'm also going to plug the female end into the male end. So now this panel here should be generating voltage, wattage, and then I should be seeing DC amps going into my battery. And it's kind of at the optimal time right now. The sun is almost at the top of the horizon, and you can see that my panels are angled right now probably around 30 degrees. So, you know, I should be getting fairly close to optimal sun right now. And we'll get the other panel set up so that I can put it right beside it. What I also need to do is I need to get a couple of 2-foot extenders, because these cables should run outside of the bracket, so when you fold them down flat when you're traveling, the cables are outside. And once I get the right cables, then I will actually put them down also with butyl, so that my cables aren't flapping around in the wind if I'm going down the highway. Yeah, let's stay tuned. I will be putting the butyl tape on these ones, and then putting them on the roof, and then I hopefully will have this one done pretty soon. It is taking me a lot longer. Okay, now that we've already angled the other panel, so they're both facing the same way now. They're both at about the same angle. We're hooking up the last panel here, and I want to check downstairs in our RV to make sure that we are actually getting power before I go start drilling holes in my roof. That's the last thing I want to do, is start drilling holes in my roof and not have power to it. Once we make sure that we have power to it, then we're going to take the panels off, and then we're going to start putting the butyl tape on them, put them back after we've drilled the holes. One thing I'm going to mention though is when you're drilling the holes, I'm going to put a piece of tape on my drill bit that's about a ½ inch back, just to make sure that I don't drill too far. I might even just go a ¼ inch. And you want to make sure that you put tape over top of where you're going to be drilling, because you don't want your drill bit to all of a sudden catch the rubber roofing that's down here. So we'll go do that, and we'll let you know if we're getting power.
Okay, so I'm here to check the panel to make sure the connection's good. And if you look at the panel, you'll see we've got 100% charge on the battery. Okay, 13.3 volts, 5.8 amps.
Okay, so we've installed one solar panel. You'll see that there's a combination of butyl tape underneath there. You can see that, maybe. And then we've got the die core, and I actually went around the edges with the die core so no one will catch themselves or hurt themselves. And then this one is hooked up. Now the other solar panel we moved out of the way, and you can see there's the markings, so they're 3 inches back. Both of them 3 inches back from the edge. And then I've gone and put tape over top of my drill holes. You can see that there's tape over top of the drill holes, and that's so I don't catch the rubber roof when I put a hole in the roof. What I do recommend is, if you're using a drill or something and you're putting the screws in, set it to the lowest torque, because the butyl tape is actually an adhesive, and the screws are just sort of there just to keep it in place. If you feel like you need more than 6 screws, then go ahead and put more than 6 screws in. But after you've put the die core and the butyl tape on, these things are pretty secure to the roof. So we're going to go ahead, and I'll go and drill these holes and pull off the tape. What I have done is I've put butyl tape on the actual the bracket fasteners, and put that there, and then it's 2 people to put it back in place, because you want it to go right down in where you want it to go, because once this tape touches that roof, it is not coming off. Okay, so like you can see here, we measured 3 inches back from the edge, because I don't want to get too close to the edge. I marked all of these. These are where the screws are going, and then this is the edge of the brackets, right? This time I don't think I'm going to actually drill because I've got actually self-tapping screws. So once the butyl tape's on top of that, I'm not too worried about me ripping the rubber roof off. So I'm going to try that for this one. We did pre-drill these ones, but I think this time it's going to probably be the same. And you know, let's see. Let's hope for the best, I guess. But I covered all of this stuff up with Dicor, and I've got the butyl tape underneath. So make sure you have someone helping you put this down, because like I said before, once that butyl tape touches this rubber roof, it is stuck, right? So the screws are kind of there just to hold everything into place until everything is actually cured and it's stuck to the roof. Okay? All right, so David again, thanks for watching the video that we're putting together. This is actually part of Pasture Grade Families on our YouTube channel. If you like it, please just say like, or you want to see more. We're actually going to be doing more in the summer. We're actually over there. We're going to be putting up a cook shack, and in the cook shack we're going to be mounting approximately 2,400 watts worth of solar into an inverter and batteries, and we'll be able to power these trailers that you see over here with AC. So if you go and take a look over behind you, camera woman.
Oh, hold on. Ella, say hi. Wave to the camera.
So
She called my name.
we've got 3 trailers total, and we're going to be having an electrical panel hooked up to a generator with a hybrid inverter charger, and we're going to be powering all 3 trailers. Like we're charging all 3 trailers during the summer. So that's going to be one of our other videos, how to set up a whole your own little solar farm. But this is just specifically for my trailer, keeping my batteries topped up, and I might later on put an inverter in my trailer, so if I leave this spot I've actually got an inverter. So like I said, we're not going to drill these, we're going to just try to go in. I've got my drill right now on the lowest setting, because all I want to do is I want to suck down the bracket so that the butyl comes up, and then I know I'm getting it sealed, and then it's all watertight. So let's go, let's see. Let's hope for the best here. So here we go, drilling the first hole. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually drilling this hole. I'm going to put the screw in instead of using a drill. The butyl tape should actually keep it in place, so just go really slow and make sure that you're doing what you need to do, and then get it nice and snug. And you can see that the butyl is already coming through here, right? So get it snug, and there you go. That's all you need. So you don't need to put a lot of pressure on it. If you put too much pressure on this thing, you will strip it, and it won't sit in there very nicely. So again, nice and slow, be patient, and then you'll see it sucking the butyl in, and there you go. Need to get it nice and snug and secure. So we'll pause the video, I'll get the rest of the screws in, and then we'll start going, and I've got more of the Dicor, and we'll Dicor around everything, and this thing will be watertight, probably more watertight than the stuff that's put on here by the manufacturer. Okay, thank you. Okay, so right now, like I said, with 2 people, we've lifted the panel up. It's fully exposed. I've got screws in place, and then I'm just going to take this Dicor here, and I'm going to cover my screws really good with the Dicor. You know, we don't want it to leak anywhere, and it's self-leveling, so it will level out. Okay. Get a good glob on top of those screws. I'm going to go over to these screws here. Again, get a good glob of Dicor in there. All right. Get it almost fully nice and sealed up. Okay, and then Just make sure, yeah, everything's nice and sealed. Okay, and then what I do is I'll run a bead of die core around here, all the way up, all the way around. Make sure that all my little edges here are covered. We don't want anyone, you know, stubbing their toes or something. So I'm going to go and finish doing the die core, get this panel back down and hooked up just exactly like this one, and then we're going to go and see how we're doing. Right now the sun is moved a bit, but we're probably still getting really good output from our solar panels. Well, there you go. We got both solar panels set up, all the die core around it, and the butyl tape underneath it. This die core though, it levels out pretty quickly. You can see that here. You can see that it's leveling itself right as we speak. We went through 2 tubes to get this done. Maybe I was a little overcautious with how much I wanted to put on here, but you know, I just don't want it to leak. So, and if you take a look at what they do at the factory, I think I was pretty sparingly according to what they do here at the factory. But you know, we got both panels up and they're running really well, and pretty excited to see how many amp hours we get out of these in a day. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Hope it's been informative. We're going to post it on our YouTube channel, Pasture Grade Families, and you know, if you like it, just click like and we'll try to do some more videos for you. Thanks. Bye. Well, we're not in direct sunlight. I had someone checking it. They're showing that we were getting 9 amps for a bit there, non-direct sunlight, but you know, we're only getting about 6.4, 6.5. Sometimes it jumps up to 6.7. But tomorrow we'll check in and take a look at it. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact my batteries are fully charged, so it's nice to see. But I'm pretty happy with this system. Way better than the 2 amps that I was getting out of 2 120 watt EcoWorthies. Don't buy them, they're pieces of junk.